Welcome back to Sunrise City. Well, yes, indeed, we're focusing on that development that occurred yesterday. We've got Shehu, who is a Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President. He joins us from our studio in Abuja. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. I know you've seen several responses, the headlines, it's all over the place. But part of the questions that some are asking, but perhaps we might as well start with that. But why did it have to take this long after 6 months before this action was taken?
Well, let me begin by saying that those who have accused the president of doing nothing over this matter, over this period of time, are not fair to him. Because the fact that none of these two senior officials of government was occupying those offices, in effect, they had been on suspension for all of this period. That itself is a disciplinary measure. Yes, it needed to be brought to completion. However, again, you must give it to the president. The president has, perhaps more than all of the critics that have been saying these things, has a wider, intellectual reach. He has a wider latitude of opinion available to him on any given matter, of public interest. So therefore, he must be looking at things that those critics are not themselves seeing. So the picture before the president is far bigger, it's much larger than the picture that is before, those critics who say these things.
Part of what they also look is that the picture in question is, for instance, they know the measures that were taken when the judges were accused, how security went there in the dead of the night, moved in. They also know how security moved in upon allegations of the former NSA who's undergoing trial. So they thought, having seen those proceedings, they thought that when there are allegations as this one against those two men, the same thing could have happened. Were they wrong in thinking those measures should have been applied as well?
Exactly, they were wrong. Because those examples, they are comparing oranges and apples. Because in the case of the judges, the president had complained 3 times to the judiciary, pointing specifically at cases of judges who had serious allegations of corruption against them, and nothing, absolutely nothing was done against those judges. After the 3rd time, the president had no option but to allow the security agencies to do. And I think in the end, he was vindicated because those searches, they revealed quite a lot. And because these matters are before the courts, I would not like to go beyond, saying just this.
But those were also allegations for which some of them were not proved in court because some of the judges eventually were let off the hook. And then about this particular case, remember, the Senate came up with some findings, but the argument then, I think from the presidency, was that, well, your report is incomplete. Then the Senate went back, completed the report, submitted it before now we see some action. So that is the context with which they say there were procedures which were applied previously and was not applied in this case.
Well, as I said to you a little earlier, as I said, we have this proverb in Hausa. If the elder looks at something, can see something from where he stands, that the kid, the child, even when he gets on a tree, is unlikely to see those kind of things. I think it must be given to the president that these are matters that are important, of course, to the war against corruption in the country, and about which there is no compromise, absolutely no compromise. He probably needed to get a few things done. And as I said, looking at various options and various scenarios, as the leader of this country, you have all of the intellectual opinion available in this country at your own disposal. And so therefore the president must be given the right to seek the best and act in the best interest of the country.